If you think God doesn't smile, listen to these prayers that he hears from children. This is from Zach, age 8. He prayed, "Dear God, my Aunt Lexi has been looking for a husband for 20 years and hasn't found one. Please help her." God, prayed Michael, age 9, "Watch over all the airplane pilots. I am flying to Florida on Monday." This is from Jody, age 10. "Dear God, thanks for the spinach and broccoli. Please help my mother not make me finish mine." Prayer. Does God hear? Does he care? One of my favorite stories comes from Dr. Helen Roseveare, the missionary doctor to Africa who built a 250-bed hospital and maternity complex in which thousands were treated who would otherwise have died. One night, she worked hard to save a mother giving birth, but sadly, the mom died, leaving behind a tiny premature baby and an inconsolable 2-year-old daughter. There was no incubator and no electricity to run one. The days were stifling, the nights chilly with treacherous drafts. An apprentice midwife ran to fetch cotton wool to wrap the baby. Another stoked a fire and filled a rubber hot water bottle. But the bottle burst. It was their last one. Helen knew that water bottles don't grow on trees and there are no drugstores down forest pathways. "All right," she said, "put the baby as near the fire as you safely can and sleep between the baby and the door to keep it free from drafts. Your job is to keep the baby warm." The following noon, as she did most days, Helen went to pray with any orphanage children who chose to show up. She told them of the tiny baby with no water bottle, how the baby could easily die if it got chills, and of the 2-year-old sister missing her mama. Ruth, a 10-year-old, prayed, "Please, God, send us a hot water bottle today. It'll be no good tomorrow. Please send it this afternoon. And while you're at it, please send a dolly so the little girl will know you really love her." Helen was stunned. "I just did not believe that God could do this," she said. "I know he can do everything. The Bible says so. But there are limits, aren't there?" "I had been in Africa almost 4 years," she remembers. "I had never ever received a parcel from home. And who would put in a hot water bottle? I lived on the equator." That afternoon, a message came. On Helen's veranda was a 22-pound parcel. Fighting tears, she sent for the orphanage children, and together they pulled off the string. Excitement mounted. 30 or 40 eyes focused on the large cardboard box. Helen lifted out bright-colored jerseys for the kids. Eyes sparkled as she handed them out. They loved it. Next came these knitted bandages for leprosy patients, and a box of raisins. I don't know if they were packaged like this, but there you go. She reached deeper. Could it be? A brand new rubber water bottle. Helen broke down and cried. "I had not asked God to send it," she said. "I had not truly believed that he could." Ruth, remember her? She rushed forward. If God sent the bottle, he must have sent the dolly too. Ruth reached down and pulled out a small, beautifully dressed dolly. She had never doubted. Looking up at Helen Roseveare, she asked, "Can I go over with you and give this little doll to that little girl so she'll know that Jesus really loves her?" Well, of course she could. That parcel had been on the way for 5 months, packed up by Helen's former Sunday school class, whose leader had obeyed God's prompting to send a hot water bottle to the equator. And one of the girls had put in a dolly for an African child 5 months before, in answer to the believing prayer of a 10-year-old to bring it that afternoon. Hey, I am in kindergarten when it comes to understanding the power of prayer. But I can't help but think of Isaiah 65:24, "Before they call, I will answer." Today, let's thank him for his great love. And whatever we face, let's entrust it to our faithful God. Hey, I just want to thank you because every time you push the subscribe button, something really cool happens to me. And so, would you just push it, just now? Thank you. Oh, pizza. Thank you. Excellent. Pepperoni.